Namaste, Acharya ji. Uh, I've been listening to you from quite some time now, and it has benefited me in the sense I feel a sense of freedom because I no more think it is important to have a belief system or rather replace one belief system with another and keep on believing in something. I've understood that it is okay to understand things, to analyze things, and that I will not lose my mental or physical balance by not clinging to a belief system. So, in that sense, I have felt a sense of freedom. However, there is a question that is troubling me from quite some time because before this, I used to listen to some spiritual gurus or some organizations, and I thought that I had this freedom of listening to them as a spectator. कि ओके सुन लिया ये बात अच्छी लग रही है तो कर लो एक्सेप्ट इफ आई फील दैट दिस इज something that doesn't have any basis to, I would distance myself from it. But now, since I have started listening to you, now there is a question of associating myself with the organization. So I have a question that I've written down because I didn't want to go haywire. Can I read it? Is it necessary to have one and only one living spiritual guru that you are completely devoted to or surrendered to, or can the need be replaced by a text? With the kind of spiritual environment in the world, complete surrender creates a kind of fear. Leaving yourself completely into the hands of the other is at times fearful, now more so because it has taken the form of organizations and a lot of propaganda. And if yes, a guru is necessary, you yourself say that a man is always surrounded by or embraced by Maya. Is it for us to filter the information given by my guru? This is a paradox, a dilemma to me, because complete surrender, though can be wonderful and it will actually hit your ego, help you get out of it. It can be fearful, and not surrendering can be a game of the ego, for who am I to filter the knowledge given by my master?
Your name, please?
Sia.
It's a tricky thing. Let's see. The guide has to be your own urge to live in freedom without bondages, to not live as a plaything of circumstances. That has to be the guru. I'm quite skeptical of accepting a person, any person, as your absolute guide. But I said it's a tricky thing because equally I would be very keen to seek guidance from where it is coming. In the old Bodhisthal, we used to have a poster. It read, "The teacher is the..." Is she here? Kamlesh? The teacher is the voice of the truth, not the man behind the voice. It says that the voice obviously does need a carnal medium. So there has to be a person. But that person really is not the guru in the absolute sense. That person is just a medium. And therefore the person is valuable only as long as he or she continues to act as a medium. Otherwise, there is nothing important, significant, or venerable or special in any person. As long as what is coming from that person is useful to you, be with the person, listen to him. The same thing applies to a book, though with a difference. I'll come to that. When you find that the person with all the personal characteristics has taken precedence over what that person stands for, it's time to quit. And what becomes quite a grave situation in most such guru-disciple cases is that often the guru does not even stand for everything, for anything, even nominally. You ask, what does your guru represent? The fellow will have no idea, because the guru is not even trying to or even pretending to represent anything. Then what is it that the guru is offering? If the guru is not even trying to represent the truth, then what exactly is there on the table? Why are people attracted to him at all? The guru is offering his personality. And so many people are just attracted to the personality, the glamour and the glitz, the organizational force behind the personality, the pomp, the riches that prop up the personality, because it takes a lot to hold up a personality, to turn the personality into a celebrity. It requires a lot of effort, a lot of manpower, a lot of resources, a lot of networking, money, everything. It's a great PR game to become a celebrity guru. And often we do not even want to ask. Fine, I can see all the jazz, but what is it that you are bringing to me? Please tell me. Or are you there only to intimidate me with the weight of your glamour and the assertion that you are somebody? Ideally, one should never bow down to any person. Never, never, never. In fact, all my life, even I have been quite skeptical of persons. And absolute and unconditional surrender to any person is something I would be very vigilant against. And whenever I have bowed down to a person, it has been with great discretion, great observation, great patience, and therefore with great love. That love has been the product of discretion, that love has been the product of what that person has brought to me as a representative. Otherwise, I squirm at the thought of prostrating before a mere mortal. It just does not sit well with me to call someone the absolute itself. Because I know that no person can be the absolute. And if a person professes to be the absolute or even half the absolute, then there is a scandal cooking somewhere. Ideally, no need of persons. However, there is a practical problem, as we have just said. The absolute by itself cannot come and talk to you. The absolute has no voice, no throat, no words of its own. Whenever the absolute will shine, it will be through a worldly medium. So that worldly medium is indeed valuable when it, and only when it acts as the medium. This distinction is foremost. Is that person acting as a medium, or is that person imposing his own persona upon me? This distinction is everything. Is he a representative of the king, or is he trying to usurp the king's throne for himself? These are two very different things, right? The ambassador cannot be the president. And oftentimes, the ambassador is not even a worthy ambassador. He's just trying to pretend to be an ambassador, whereas he internally is raising hopes of being called the king one day. So first of all, be very cautious in taking somebody's guidance. Secondly, even if you do take somebody's guidance, nothing is eternal, nothing is unconditional, nothing is absolute. Only the absolute is unconditional, only the absolute is timeless. Always remain vigilant, always. Maya is all powerful. The ones we call as gurus, too, are not Maya proof. She can make anyone slip at any time. Therefore, your surrender or devotion, whatever it is, just cannot be unconditional. Do keep it conditional always. And what is the condition? As long as you are the voice of the truth, I am with you. The day you start barking in your own animal voice, nothing doing, I leave. I'm not here to hear your voice. As far as bodies go, all bodies are the same. Your body is the same as mine. I'm not here to take sermons from just another body like mine. However, if you can pay the price of distancing yourself from yourself, then I'll listen to you. And only as long. Because my objective is not to reach a person. My objective is to reach my fulfillment. My objective is my own freedom. One man, one woman, one text just cannot be my objective. And coming to texts. Texts are all great, and texts are way safer than men. In the sense that hardly any text has any malicious intention. Whereas people, men, the living gurus, they definitely can have malicious intentions. Plus, texts are far more objective. A guru can lure you and tempt you with all his pomp and show. That is not there in the text. The text is more objective. So texts are preferable in that sense. But again, there is a limitation. Texts do save you from the harmful effects of the fake gurus. But texts also prevent you from reaping the full benefits that a true teacher may offer you. So texts do limit your downside, but they also cap the upside. Are you getting it? With a text, you cannot go horribly wrong. Equally, with a text, you are prevented from enjoying the full spectrum of benefits that a truly loving man can bring to you. Because the person, if he is genuine, it's a big if, always remember, it's a big if. Don't be in a hurry to just think that anything being lobbed at you is a great nugget of wisdom. Not necessarily. In fact, rather rarely. If there is indeed a person with genuine intentions to help you, then that person is able to exercise personal affection through his personal self. This personal self is something that a book does not have. Simple things. A person can read your face, but no book can read your face, though you can read the book. So with the book, it becomes rather one way. When you stand in front of a person, the person can read your face. The book cannot read your face. The person can embrace you. The book won't. Can't. The person can admonish you, punish you. The book can't. The person can turn you away. The book is at your disposal always. You do something totally despicable, the person can ask you to get out, leave. But you can keep doing all horrible things and still carry the book. The book is helpless in your hands. That's the limitation the book carries. So all these things are there. You have to weigh in on all of them. The book definitely is safer, I'm saying. The book is not going to loot you. And if you are a female disciple, the book is not going to tempt and rape you. And such things have happened. With persons. Personal masters, that is. The book is not going to ask you to go and riot in the city, in the streets of the city. And the book does not have mood swings. The book cannot say one thing today and another thing tomorrow. With the person, there is no such guarantee. So with the book, there is a great deal of safety. And we said with the book, there is also a big limitation. One must start with books. Good to begin with they are. However, if one comes to a point, having been with books for long, having gained much wisdom from the books for long, then if one comes to a point where he or she starts finding the books insufficient, probably then that is the time to seek personal guidance. That is my approach. That's why I advocate books so much. You see what would happen if you begin with books? The books themselves will tell you the right person to go to. Because books are safe to begin with, and when you begin, you are very gullible. You can be tempted, looted, robbed, misguided, anything. You do not know a thing. And teachers usually carry very imposing personas. You can just get sucked in. So start off with the books, and we have time-tested, established books. Be with them for long. Get as much as you can. And I'm saying then the book itself will tell you the right person or persons or sources to go to. And then the chances of going wrong are minimized, because the books have already given you an armor of wisdom. No? You have known so much through the books that now if a fake peddler comes to you disguising as a guru, you will be quick to call him out. You will say, this much my books have told me that such a person is not worth listening to. But that does not happen. We are very aversive to books. We straight away rush to people. Straight away. And then what happens is what has been happening. And then we say, oh, the world is full of cheats and... No, the world is not full of dacoits. You invited trouble. When you do not know who to go to, why did you go to anybody? Just because the fellow happened to be popular? Just because there was a lot of glids and the fellow was well networked? Or the fellow came from a long tradition? Or had the backing of a huge and deeply funded organization? So you thought, well, everybody is going there, let me also queue up. And then when you are disappointed, you blame the world. Why blame the world? What's the problem in reading books first? At least have the fundamentals ready. For those fundamentals, you do not need any specialist teacher. Not needed. Even here in the Mahotsav, I try to ensure that you first read the books in the morning, so that you are prepared to an extent. First be with the books all by yourself. For every little thing, why do you need a personal teacher? Are you not capable? Are you not mature enough? What's your age? Will you rush to some person for every small thing? Read the books. Chances are you may not even need a so-called living, breathing teacher. And if even after reading the book you have doubts, those doubts at least will have some level. At least you won't come up with childish queries and waste the teacher's time. Your problems would be more genuine if you come after reading the books. That way you'll be helping yourself as well as the teacher, assuming the teacher is genuine. If the teacher is not genuine, he will anyway not send you to the books. Because books will be a great problem for the false teacher. If you read the books, you won't go to him. So he will keep saying, no, don't read the books. I am sufficient. Read my books. Don't read the books, read my books. Do you get this? It's not a 0 or 1 thing. It's a nuanced thing. And you have to make your way through all this. The last thing to do is, rather 2 things to do. 1, do not just unconditionally accept any person. Do not do that. Second, do not try to avoid books. Right? The approach I am suggesting is, be with the books and then with the teacher. Or be with the books and the teacher concurrently. These two will either be sequential or concurrent. But you cannot have just one of them. If you have just the person, chances are you will be deceived. If you have just the books, chances are that your progress will be safe but limited. In case you have to choose between either a book or a person, go for the book. Definitely go for the book. If you are not sure about the person, remain with the book. At least you will be safe. And even if you have to go to a person, ensure that you are not keeping your books aside. Are you getting it? Anything more?
Yes, I had another follow-up question on the same thing. What I had been doing in the beginning is, if I liked a video of yours or whatever I thought was I wanted to share with someone, I would directly share the video, or I would directly take a screenshot of some of the quotes and send them through. Slowly, what I started realizing is, I would get into fights with people, as in they would start questioning that, you are listening to another guru now, and now you have started sharing things about him, and you will find everything that this person says is right. So they would say such things. But now what I have started doing is, I have the app, and whenever the wisdom feed is uploaded, I usually take a screenshot and I crop your name out of it and I post it. Once I've started doing that, people readily accept what is being said, and they say, very good, where did you get this from? Where do you get all this from? So I feel that there is this kind of a problem also, wherein people agree to what is being said, but just because someone is saying it, they tend to refuse it. But I have a feeling of guilt, because I feel that because of social acceptance, or because people have started questioning me, is that the reason I have started cropping out the name? And is it okay? Should I feel guilty about it? It is a moral dilemma.
This again, like everything in life, is nuanced. If you are cropping out my name because you are afraid to own the name, then that is one thing. I am so afraid I cannot associate myself with that name. It's dangerous. That is one thing. On the other hand, if you are cropping out my name for a purely missionary reason, then that's a totally different thing. And this thing is acceptable now, very acceptable, no issues. But mostly, people are just afraid. So they crop out the name, or they just pick up the stuff in their own name, whatever. Something interesting just happened a few days back. There is this popular Twitter handle that publishes literature in Hindi. They pick up pieces from the prominent authors and poets in Hindi, and they tweet. So they picked up something from AP in Hindi. They tweeted it without quoting the name. So they did that, but somehow many people who knew AP got to know, and there was a mini outrage. So a lot of people went to that post and asked them to acknowledge the author. Otherwise it is just plagiarism. So that Twitter handle apologized, and they next day tweeted another excerpt from AP, duly carrying the author's name. The first one, without AP's name, had several thousand likes and retweets. You got it. The next one, carrying his name, had barely a few hundred. But that's okay, fine. Fine in one sense, not at all fine in another sense. So you have to be discreet. I'm not saying that the name is very important. I'm also saying, ask yourself why the name must be avoided. And sometimes there is a genuine reason to leave out the name. In such cases, do leave out the name without any feeling of guilt. In other cases, you might be leaving out the name just because you don't have the guts to be with the name. Then it is not okay. So be clear about what your intention is. There can be a little bit of tactic in this. If you have to send an AP thing to a group of people who are known to be averse to his name, then obviously it's a good idea to leave out the name. If there is a particular segment that is allergic to the name itself, then send the content without the name. Even I would do that. Anything else?
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd just like to extend the question that was asked by the lady in the online thing about gurus. So, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahu Vedanti. So, one truth is expressed by sages in different names. So, there are different schools of thought. You also said in one of the videos that a theorem can be proved in multiple ways. So, as there are different schools of thought of self-realization, and as you come from Vedanta, the other gurus and other teachers come from other schools of thought. So, there has been this conflict which is seen even at the times of Osho and even in right now as well. So, why does this happen? And as a seeker, if I am somebody inclined towards hybridization, like I want to mix and match things, is that a trick of the ego, or is that something which is plausible, to move forward, or does that make things more difficult?
Vedanta is not a school of thought.
It's not. Sorry, it's a loose use of language.
That's all. That's all. How can a clear inquiry into who you are be a school of thought? It's not a school of thought or an ideology or a way of thinking. You're looking at yourself and asking, who am I? That's Vedanta, full stop. How is it a school of thought?
Yes, it's a wrong use of words from
No, it's not merely a wrong use of words. It's a complete negation of the hybridization you are talking of. Equally, it permits all kinds of ways, including hybrid ways. But you cannot hybridize the question, who am I, with 1,000 miscellaneous questions. The realization that this is the most central question has to be paramount. This cannot be mixed with other things. Now, once you ask, who am I? After that, if you get the answer, I am most certainly a body, therefore what I need is physical exercises. Then you can proceed with something that tells you to do something in a physical way or whatever, and there are many other things. Vedanta looks at thought, right? It does not get expressed in thought. Vedanta is the mother of thought. The other things that you are talking of, they are products of thought. There has to be a difference between the mother of thought and several products of thought. There are people who may tell you, you do this, this will happen, you do this, that will happen. Vedanta says, who are you? And stops. After that, it's your ball. Play it the way you like.
If I may elaborate on, is that okay? So, let's say if we take into consideration Yoga Sutras, it proceeds with Yama's...
Why should I go to the Yoga Sutras? What need do I have? Let's begin from there.
Because both Vedanta and...
Wait. You are sitting there, I am sitting here, right? We two are two people. Why do I need to go to the Yoga Sutras? Or to Vedanta? Let's begin with the real thing. Why do I need to do anything?
If I can answer that, so both of them have...
You're talking of them. I'm asking about myself. Why do I need to go to any book?
For freedom.
Right. Why do you need freedom, first of all?
Because we are in bondage.
Right. So there has to be a clear realization, I am in bondage. I am in bondage. Right? Now who is in bondage?
The ego, the I tendency is in bondage.
The I tendency is in bondage. And what is the bondage of the I tendency?
It's attached to a lot of things.
Its knowledge of itself, what it takes itself to be, is its own bondage. What it takes itself to be is its own bondage, right? Its perception, its thoughts of itself are its bondage. Now tell me, which book should I go to? A book that does not talk of my self-perception, my self-image at all? Why should I go to it? I'm not trying to downplay any book. I'm just asking you, how do you really pick a book for yourself?
May I respond to that, Acharya? So, both these approaches have samadhi as their end goal, both Vedanta and the Yoga Sutras. And in the beginning of Yoga Sutras itself, they say the end goal is the stilling the modifications of the mind, and so that you can go to the witness. So they are saying the same thing. Again, this is not in my experience, or I'm not at that state. I'm just on the path, and I'm trying to reconcile these things. So I'm not really at this point of time finding too much of a conflict per se. And both of them are trying to address that core issue of bondage and freedom, but their application of words and their approaches seem to be slightly different, is what I'm perceiving right now. So again, the question comes back to, is it possible for a seeker to kind of mix these two and go pursue ahead?
You can not only mix these two, you can mix the 20 of them. Provided you do not forget that you are at the center of everything. In fact, the way you started, truth is one, the knowers express it in several ways, that does not mean anything. You have to ask yourself, what is your truth? What is your truth? The absolute is of no use to you if you do not know your position. Where do you stand? And the knowers have no need to express it in several ways. They express it in several ways to several people, because the several people stand at several distinct positions. The impression that we carry that the truth can be expressed in this way, that way, is totally flawed. The truth cannot be expressed in any way. However, diseases can be cured in multiple ways because there are multiple diseases. You stand at a particular point, so one thing will have to be said to you. Somebody else stands at a separate point. Something else will need to be said to that person. In fact, even to you, something might need to be said today and something totally different might need to be said tomorrow. It is not that the truth is getting variable or fluctuating. Your own position fluctuates. Therefore, the truth has to be brought to you in a certain way. Right? Now, when it comes to approaches, Vedanta is extremely liberal. Because the approaches do not matter at all, you see. What matters is the one real thing. If you can get to that one real thing using a hybrid of 100 ways, great. But never must you forget the real question. What is happening to me in the process? What is happening to me? The things that are being said, if they are even a little corrupted, will they take me there? And if I am following a particular book, one half of which is saying things that are purely imaginary, for example, you will start flying in the air. You will become light as cotton. What will happen? Do go to all sources possible. But always ask yourself, what is happening to me in the process? Because you are at the center of all your effort. The book is not. The book is for your sake. You are not for the book's sake.
So, in some of the videos you have said, if you're doing some practices and if they're working for you, by all means go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So, I have experimented with some of those practices and they seem to be working. Hopefully I'm not biased in that conclusion.
When they will work, then you will not say, hopefully I am not biased. Their work, the proof of their success is that you will know. And you will know for sure. If right now you have to attach such qualifications, hopefully, maybe, I do not know, probably I am not biased, then they are not working.
But Acharya ji, now when we say something is working or something is not working, let's say if I have a random flow of thoughts 2 years back, and let's say that flow of thoughts, that irrelevant fluctuations have subsided a little, and I'm able to understand certain things clearly from your words, from other practices maybe. Now that's a sign that they are working at this point of time. So would that be a fair conclusion to make?
I do not know. You see, it is very possible to very smoothly and speedily go down a road only to discover that there is a cul-de-sac, a dead end. Just because you have been speedily and smoothly going down a road and feel to have covered some distance, it does not necessarily bode well for you. You'll go down the wrong road for a long time only to find that the other side, the way to return, is equally long. So I do not know. You have to be extremely vigilant. Maya strikes in 1,000 ways. Just be vigilant. Keep being vigilant. What is going on?
And the other question I have is, let's say if we are looking at the society and there are so many causes that one is concerned with and one is attuned to, that which needs to be addressed. Like, for example, lack of green cover in our cities, veganism, the issue of honking and the noise pollution. And I can just go on listing these issues which I find all around me. So when one is convinced that one has to take up one of these things and work towards them irrespective of the challenges one might face, but I'm also equally overwhelmed by which one to pick, because they all somehow seem to be important. So in such a stage, how
From
can...
what you are saying, be it respect to the books you need to pick from or the causes you need to pick from, I sense that there is a great hesitancy in according hierarchy. Right? Many things might be good, but one has to realize which one is more valuable than the other. Just as any line that does not begin from the question, who is this line for? I'm talking of philosophy. Has to be inferior to something that begins with the question, who am I? Similarly, all causes might carry some value, but they are not equal. You have to identify the mother cause. Right? There are so many schools of thought, as you said. All carry weightage, all are worth considering. But nothing beats the mother question. For whom is everything? For whom are all these schools? And any school that does not begin from this question is an inferior school, even if it carries some value, even if it offers some benefit. Similarly, this thing saying this cause is great, this cause is great, this cause is great, shows a reluctance to accord priority. And this usually comes out of an aversion to risk. If I do accept that this is higher than this, then I'll have to go with this. Because I do not really want to completely go with anything. I want to avoid the absolute. Therefore, what I'll say is, this is there, this is there, this is there, this is there, and all look kind of equal to me. So which one do I go for? How is it possible that you are unable to identify where all these social problems are fundamentally coming from? That is the cause worth espousing. Go for that.
So if I have to relate everything to the mother question, as you said, which is me and my bondage and my freedom, it's actually very clear to me that I can easily spend the rest of my life pursuing that question, and my life would end very easily, because that probably I have such a long journey to cover. So it's not. I'm making a lot of assumptions here. So basically, we have to ask that question every time we do. But when we see all these causes, and when we take up, let's say, suppose when we take up one cause, how can we overlook the other things, and how can we not be affected or by the other things we see, because they all are important? Sorry if
you have brain cancer and you have a resultant headache. All causes are equally important. Which one do you want to address? And you also have problems with eyesight because of the cancer. The cancer is affecting special parts in your brain. You also are losing weight because of the cancer. There are so many problems. Which one do you want to address? You want to go to an eye specialist? Your skin is also not doing well. You want to go to a dermatologist? To you, everything is equal. Everything is equal. Let's go to the skin doctor. Please. I'm having some pimples. The mother question is the mother of all problems. That's what deserves to be addressed. Other things, well, they can be managed through analgesics. They have to be managed. They are not problems to be solved. They are not things that need to be dissolved. They will go away on their own. The mother granthi, the mother problem, is what needs to be dissolved.
Thank you.
I could, say, it's raining so much. It's raining so much. The solution is, let's all wear raincoats. Tomorrow, let's all wear heavy woolens. Why is that not a solution? Why is that not a solution? All right, let's go beyond that. Let's change the session venue tomorrow. It's raining so much. Why is that not a solution? And it's raining so much, it's creating muddy pools outside. Let's call up the municipality to fill up the pools. Why is that not a solution? It's raining so much. In the future, let's consult the weather forecast before we decide on the dates. Why is that not a solution? All that is a solution. It depends on how far do I want to go. Vedanta is for those who want to go the whole hog, the complete distance. If I want to go the complete distance, I will say this is climate crisis. Yes, to manage the situation immediately, temporarily, I will probably use bitumen tapes to ensure there are no leaks. I'll also probably advise you to wear woolens tomorrow. But I'll know very well that all this is just problem management of a very temporary kind. This is no solution. If I am honest, then I want to go right to the root of the solution. Is that not so? I want to address the root. And if I just want to somehow address my responsibility in a superficial way, then I'll do some little thing and feel happy that the situation has been brought in control. It's okay. We anyway don't have to be on this planet for long, just as we don't have to be in this hall forever. So let's just do something that enables us to spend the next 2 days nicely, and then we will depart, just as we'll depart one day from this planet. So why do we need to take too much load? Just do some little thing and declare that's the end of your responsibility. That approach too you can take. All that depends on your inner honesty and your willingness to shoulder responsibility. There can be no one answer. The answer depends on you. That's Vedanta.